Okay, so hello everyone. I just got back from seeing G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra. Now, this is a very different version of G.I. Joe than anything you may be used to. You may be used to the cartoon, where Cobra Commander sounds like a little girl, or you may be used to Larry Hama's comics. But at any rate, The Rise of Cobra is sort of a fresh adaptation. Now, before we get into the movie, there is something you have to know. There is something you have to leave at the door, and that is your Oscar scouter. You kind of have to just, turn off your critical self when you're seeing this movie, because obviously this isn't like a movie that any like serious critic would consider good. It's not a movie with a good plot and a drama to it. It's just a big, loud, dumb, fun action movie. So, and that's something that a lot of people aren't understanding about this movie when they're calling it bad and stuff before seeing it. You just kind of have to suspend disbelief for a couple hours, sit back and have fun. And I think this movie's very fun. It sort of succeeds everywhere where Transformers 2 fails. See, the whole time you're watching Transformers 2, it's like, holy shit, castrate me now and, shoot me in the face. But the Rise of Cobra movie is actually a lot of fun. The characters are pretty good, for the most part. I mean, there's some that are pretty dry, like Duke. He's the main character. He's always saving everybody's ass. He's always chasing after Baroness, trying to get her to be the girl that he fell in love with again. Oop, that was a spoiler. Um, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna hold back on spoilers, but there's Duke, there's Ripcord. He's the black sidekick. At one point, when he's trying to voice activate a missile, he even says "bust a cap." So he ends up going out with Scarlet. She's played by Rachel Nichols. She's supposed to be like super smart in this movie. She studies like quantum physics and whatnot, and she has like a superiority complex where she can never be defeated. So the first time Baroness defeats her in a fight in the G.I. Joe pit, which is like their desert headquarters. Um, she obviously suffers from some kind of trauma about that. As far as the other characters, there's Snake Eyes, who's played by Ray Park, who's the very anticipated ninja character who never speaks, wears a visor. Um, he's pretty well done. I don't like his muscle suit. He's overly he's overly muscular. It doesn't work for the character. Um, Storm Shadow is pretty bland. He's like a punk, and he doesn't wear his ninja costume through too much of the film. He just says kind of cliched lines like, you know, if he touches you, he will die. And I didn't like him too much. What I will say is Zartan is awesome. Zartan is the master of the disguise you may know from the comics and the cartoon, and he's played by the guy who plays the mummy. And he does this thing where he whistles every time he's on screen. He like whistles this little tune, and that's how you know that it's Zartan, despite his disguises. Uh, he says something about like American politics, and then he'll be sitting there whistling, and he comes really into play at the end of the film as well. Um, who else? Cobra Commander. I'm sure everybody was looking forward to seeing how he came out on film. Cobra Commander he only appears in the end of the film really, and with a sort of a Darth Vader voice. I wasn't too impressed with him, but I was impressed with how he looks for the majority of the film before becoming Cobra Commander. He is Rex Lewis, the Doctor. He's got like this like black wig, like a breathing apparatus. I'd say he's like the archetype sort of villain. Like, he's got that snide, like monocle thing going on, and the evil voice, and the testing on snakes, and the, holding his breathing apparatus. He's just a badass villain. Uh, and he really fits that role very well, the one that Destro doesn't seem to fill. Destro is kind of bland throughout, other than his accent, which is pretty funny, you know. When I'm finished, the world will never forget. His, like, stupid Scottish accent. Baroness, she's mostly just cleavage. You know, her character was pretty well done. The fighting was pretty well done. She was not very interesting to watch develop, but her boobs were fun to watch. So that's that. Um, what else about the characters? There's a brief cameo by Brendan Fraser training the Joes. General Hawk, of course, is played by Dennis Quaid. Yeah, you know, this movie's just got so much CGI, so many explosions and ships flying around. I mean, there's parts where it looks like Star Wars or something like that. But you know, the difference is between this and like any of these big budget movies nowadays with like stupid explosions is you can tell what's going on. Like even in an interview with the director, he said like the geography of a fight is very important, and you can see that in this movie that there's no question any time it's going on. I mean, the story is very simplistic, you know, very contrived, but throughout you can really, you know, see the motions of all the action, and the action sequence is incredible. It's just I've never seen so much CGI. You know, it's got the accelerator suits, which are a reason of contention among many fans, but trust me, they're only in one scene, and it's the Paris chase, which is a pretty fun scene. You know, Baroness and Storm Shadow take off in a truck, and they, you know, they start speeding away, and they're getting chased by the Joes in the accelerator suits, and Snake Eyes, who's like literally like running after the truck and like jumping on top of it, and I thought all that was pretty cool. The accelerator suits are only in that part, and you know, if you can get past them, I mean, they're not very cool, but if you can ignore them and just sort of watch the flow of the movie and sort of sit back, then the Paris scene is really the one where I felt like I was watching G.I. Joe, like watching the cartoon, and this is about as, you know, it's a fantastical sort of show anyway. It's hard to believe, but you know, the Paris scene is one where I really got the feel for G.I. Joe, and you know, if you're gonna do a Joe movie, at least, you know, don't take yourself too seriously. Don't try to be any sort of Oscar-winning movie. You know, this is the way to do it. Make it like a live-action sort of cartoon. Just a lot of explosions, a lot of fun, a lot of character cliches. You know, play into like the, you know, the overstated film stereotypes, like the best friend character, the girlfriend character, the you know, the redemption character. You know, the merciless villain, that being the Doctor throughout. Of course, there's just the cool characters like, you know, Zartan. And then there's, of course, the annoying sidekicks like Breaker, who's overconfident in his technological abilities. But, you know, I would recommend this movie. If you can, you know, with the trepidation that you have to watch it and go in with an open mind and an attitude that you want to see a fun film. You know, don't go in there expecting any sort of Oscar winner. You know, go in there expecting to see, you know, a movie that's a lot of fun to watch, and it's just loud and it doesn't make sense, but, you know, it's G.I. Joe. When did G.I. Joe ever make sense? So I enjoyed it a lot. I plan on seeing it again. You know, I review a lot of movies for like local papers and stuff like that, and you know, this is one movie where I feel like in good conscience I can't give it like a star sort of rating, like out of 4 stars, because it's just not that kind of movie. It's sort of like the ultimate action movie. Like it sort of transcends, you know, like this is how many explosions you can have in one movie while with it still being tasteful. But yeah, everybody, go see it.